Hi there everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name is Jared, also known here on YouTube as Sir Blinken. So today I'm going to be bringing you a video kind of going over a little bit more in-depth why I switched from a custom-built gaming PC to my new Mac Studio with the M1 Max chip. So I built this computer about 10 years ago and spent about $6,000 building it. At that point it was near top of the line. Had 32 gigs of RAM, which back then cost $1,000 just for the RAM. Had the initial Intel i7 processor in it, Asus gaming motherboard, multiple hard drives, being able to run in a RAID array. But as you know, that generally with technology, the second you buy it and walk out the door, or the second it arrives, it's already out of date. And so this thing ran great, but very quickly became old. I have then since then had to spend about another $1,500 to $2,000 upgrading it to kind of keep it current, keep it going. But at this point now, 10 years out, a lot of the original hardware that hasn't been replaced has to be replaced. And it's not that it's broken, it's not that there's anything wrong with it, it's just that you can't get drivers to have it work in the current environment. And so much of the other parts that have been replaced, that what I call almost the Windows virus, means that Windows doesn't recognize it as the same computer anymore. So I've had to wipe the entire system multiple times to buy fresh product keys, but then it still leaves a little tag in there showing, oh, this was used in a previous machine, even though it's the same machine. And then Windows at this point now, with going from Windows 8 to 10 to 11, this thing just doesn't work right. It crashes all the time, not because anything's wrong with it, but because Windows goes, oh, you have a video card that was used in this computer but in a different configuration, so we're going to stop allowing the video card to work. We're going to stop allowing the operating system to actually be read off the hard drive. And so it just became a really big pain. I got to the point where I was going to have to go through and upgrade everything else, but I was looking at $2,000 to $3,000, so I'm like, okay, well, let's buy a whole new computer at this point, because this thing is going to be essentially outdated even with the upgrades. So what do I do? Unfortunately, with Mac, they are not great at gaming. Just out the box, Apple does not care about gaming. That's not what they're designed for. I wanted to be able to do gaming, but I also needed to do some other stuff, so I was really, conflicted on what I wanted to do. Asus has some great, pre-builts that I was looking at, but with COVID and everything else, they were really hard to come by and they were super expensive. MSI had some pre-builts, but once again, really hard to come by. And even on Newegg, I went through and designed my own, custom build again. And once again, I was looking at having to spend another $6,000 to build an actual gaming PC. And I just didn't want to sink another $6,000 into just being able to really game. So I decided that looking outside and trying to figure out kind of out of the box ideas was a better idea. So I sat there and went, okay, what do I need a computer to be able to do? Well, I need to be able to run, my QuickBooks, my Excel spreadsheets, my, Word of sorts, all those kind of basic programs like that is more what I need a computer to do. I can do a lot of it from the iPad, but it's nice having a computer to run a lot of that stuff for running a business, for teaching, for just kind of general day-to-day usage. You don't really need a gaming PC to do all of that. Then with looking at starting a YouTube channel, it's like, okay, well, I need something that can do video processing. Obviously, I've done some on the iPad just using iMovie, but I need something a little bit more powerful if I'm wanting to take this forward. So, started looking into, once again, Asus, then started looking over at the MacBook Pros, and then ended up kind of settling that, okay, well, a MacBook Pro will do everything I needed to do aside from game. But I didn't really need the portability. And then the Studio came out. I'm like, holy cow, this ticks all of the boxes that I need. It gives me all the power and all the performance I need of a home computer and does everything except for the gaming. So that's why I decided at that point that buying this at $2,400 plus getting a PlayStation, plus getting whatever other gaming peripherals I can game on there and then use this for all the processing just made more sense than spending all the money on a gaming PC. Down the road, maybe it might be worth looking at getting a gaming PC again. But I know that there are some leaks and rumors out there, as well as something that's actually come out, of external video cards that you can just straight up hook into the Mac in order to play some games that you just need the GPU power for. But obviously with Mac, it's not really the GPU performance that's the issue, it's the operating system that's the issue. I'm hoping that Mac just straight up releases a more optimized operating system that allows kind of more cross-platform, if you will, gaming, which is obviously, a dream. Or that maybe some of these third-party companies will be able to get virtual machines operating more fluidly on the Mac to be able to run games that are more optimized for Windows without having to straight up optimize the games themselves for Windows. The other hard part that I do acknowledge is that most of the time, if you're going to be a gamer, you're going to want a gaming PC, you're going to be on Windows. It's not worth for that maybe 5% of the market that's on Mac that wants to game for the companies to invest the money into designing their games to work on Mac. I get it. It's frustrating, but I get it. So for now, I'm just trying to find kind of other ways around it. But as far as power goes, for anything that's not gaming, the Mac Studio will outperform this computer hands down. And the Mac Studio is the size of the power supply that I have in this computer. So yeah, for me, it was well worth it just to upgrade, get the new Mac Studio, run all of my home peripherals off of it, use it as the hub. The other great thing is that I have my multiple iPads that I take on the go, one for business, one for personal. The environment on the studio has already been amazing. Being able to access the iMovie that I made on the iPad, seamlessly access it on the computer, all of my videos, all of my photos, being able to text straight from the computer has been great when I've been working on trying to process some of these videos. Someone shoots a text, I don't have to pull out my phone, I don't have to pull out the iPad, I can just do it straight from the computer. Yeah, all of my Word documents, numbers, which is, the Excel equivalent, and now starting to get into hopefully making thumbnails for these videos and trying to figure out how some of these different, Keynote and other programs may work for producing these videos. Being able to do it on the go with the iPad or the phone and then have it accessible from here just makes this way more worth it, way more versatile than having to plug it into the computer, download it, and then have to deal with it coming from an iPhone and having to translate it over to be able to run on Windows. It just made more sense to go with this. This obviously takes up a lot less room on the desk as well. This had to go under the desk because it was so big, or had to try and tuck behind the TV. This has like 13 fans in it to keep it cool. I know water cooling is obviously an option. I didn't want to go with that at this point. The tech just wasn't necessarily where I felt secure enough. But with having that many fans, this thing sounds like an airplane when it's running. Versus this, I had it running, and even when the fan did kick in, it was quieter than the PlayStation by far. So all in all, I think that for most people, the Mac Studio with the M1 Max chip is probably the best home computer that you can get right now. And that's why I decided to get it. Obviously, you may have some needs that are going to take you a different direction. If you're wanting to be a hardcore at-home gamer, you're still going to be stuck trying to build one. Hopefully now that the pandemic is kind of wrapping up, supply chains are starting to open up, you'll be able to find computer parts, you'll be able to start getting some pre-built computers a little bit cheaper or just in the first place. But if you're not needing that, go with the Studio. It's what I'd recommend. So I know, like everything else, it's just my opinion. It's worth that, in opinion. If you like my opinion, you like this video, go ahead, give me a thumbs up, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, help this channel to grow, help this community to grow. Once again, I'm Jared, also known as Sir Blinking. I appreciate your time, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.